All right, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
To start this lesson, we're going to begin by giving our praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to sincere brothers pushing his truth and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of earth, diligently. And also shalom to a few sisters that listen and believe as well. Shalom to you all. And once again, just want to say this, man. Salutation to those brothers preaching his word throughout the four corners of earth in all truth and in sincerity, man. All right, shalom to you all, you brothers and you sisters. All right, shalom to you all. We're the men from the Great Millstone Miami camp under Brother War, and with me,
The brother Rawad Shapar.
we come that one lesson through Spirit Empire Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to edify the elect, our fellow brothers, Lord, when we be a part of the elect, and also to edify the rest of believers out there as well. And what we're going to be going into in this lesson is, as you can see by the title, all right, it is Message for Young Brothers, episode 119. Don't neglect the milk, okay? Which is true, man. You cannot neglect the milk. You cannot put the milk off. All right. You cannot forget about the milk. All right. You can't, man, because that's our foundation. All right. And from time to time, you have to go back to the milk, man, because once again, that is our foundation. All right. That is our foundation, man. That's how could I say it, man? Our support, man. All right, our support. You know, that's what it is, man. Before you can walk, you gotta crawl, right?
That's right.
So that's our support, man. That's the bottom, man. That's the roots, man. Okay, without the roots, it's pointless, man. Okay, and that's what it is with this milk, man. Without the milk, all right, there's no foundation, there's no support. It's things are pointless, man. Gotta know the milk, all right. Gotta know the milk, and you cannot put the milk off. It's time from time to time you have to revisit the milk, man. Okay, gotta revisit, gotta restudy. All right, study, show thyself approved. Go back, man. Go back to your foundation. What they say in the world, man. Don't forget where you came from, man. Don't forget where you came from. And hey, a lot of us, all right, all of us really, we came from the milk. All right,
That's right.
we came from the milk. All right, we were taught the milk, so we cannot forget where we came from, man. Can't get too bougie. Can't get too high minded. All right, don't allow knowledge to puff up to a point where you think, now I'm good. I don't need to go back to this. You do have to. Even our apostles, you'll hear them from time to time say that, hey, we gotta revisit this, we gotta revisit that. We gotta go through this story again, that story again, because it's beneficial, man. All right, it's beneficial. It's good for you. All right, it's nutrients. All right, you're being fed. Okay, and I'm gonna just pass it to the speaker, man. You got it, Wesky. You can just take over.
Con, this is book of First Peter chapter 2, verse 2. It says, "As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby." That's right. You need that milk, and if you can go into the word milk, Baba Kasha, in that precept,
God.
just as a baby, when a baby comes out, baby needs milk to grow.
Yep.
But just like us in this word with this truth, we need the milk, because the milk is what builds your foundation.
Right.
The milk is what keeps you secure. You reading these stories and getting into these milk scriptures and learn these things. That's your foundation. So if
Right.
somebody tries to say, "Oh, uh, uh, the angels have sex," you could bring out a precept that says the angels don't do that. You can go into the color of the Lord. If somebody tries to tell you that the Lord is a so-called white man with blue eyes,
Right.
that's why it's important to know the milk.
You can go in. You can go into um his name is not Jesus.
Yep.
You can go into that. He was a Hebrew. He was of dark skin. You know, and stuff like that. You can go into reincarnation.
Yep.
That's very important, and that's milk. All
Yep. The
right,
chariot.
the chariots. The so-called virgin birth. You know,
Yep.
all these things are milk. All right, you got to know these different things, and it's beneficial for you to know for yourself, and also for others that may come up, other brothers may come in. All right, so you can edify them, or if you have to defend the gospel, all right, a Christian
Yep.
may come, a Christian may come up and say, "Oh, Mary was actually a virgin." You gotta be able to break it down and show that nah, she wasn't a virgin. Okay, she was
Exactly.
a virgin in the sense of yeah, she was young, but she wasn't a virgin in the sense of she was untouched. Okay, got to be able to go into you got to be able to go into Isaiah the 7th chapter where it says a virgin and go into the word and show you, and it just tells you that it just she was a young woman. Got to know these different things, man. You go into different Hebrew words for virgin, man. You know, baftwala, all right, and
Hmm.
I forget the other one. You know, these things are important. You got to know these things.
That's right.
You got it.
It's important to know these things because this is your foundation.
Right.
You know, you always can lean back on your foundation, and you're always supposed to be able to bounce back. Your foundation should not be able to get swept or broken. Which where it says milk, it says milk, and it says a metaphor for the less difficult truths. You know, it's important to know the milk. You know, especially as a new believer coming into this truth. You know, there's no reason for you trying to break down Second Ezra 11 and trying to break down what the feathers are. There's no
Hmm.
reason for you to be going into the chip. You should know the chip though, but if you don't know the milk, there's no reason for you to be getting into the destruction of Babylon and going into Jeremiah 50, going into Ezekiel 37. You know, there's no reason for you to be going into those things. You need to get the milk because the milk is what builds your faith.
That's right.
That's what builds your faith because once you get confident in the milk, you already know. You
Hmm.
start to bring it out with more confidence. You start to be bold with it, and eventually, as you excel and you grow in this truth, it's the same thing. You're gonna start getting the meat. You're gonna start bringing the meat out with confidence. The sayings out with confidence, man. The deep sayings with confidence. But it all starts off with the milk. You have to start off with a foundation, man.
That's right.
And
So
the
you got
scriptures tell you, oh, it's like
now I was gonna say you gotta know certain things, and another thing you said about Isaiah 37, which hey, to be honest, you're supposed to know that too. You know that's
Ezekiel 37.
yeah, Ezekiel 37. You're supposed to know that. When you get to a certain, because that's milk in a sense too. You
Yeah,
know, milk in a sense, so you're supposed to know that. At least you know the dry bones and stuff like that. But you got it.
you know, as the scriptures tell you, the race is not given to the swift. You know, it's not a race. It's not a race. Oh, I know this man knows this much. Let me try to cram everything in, and then I can go to the other sayings. No, take your time. Learn it for yourself. Understand it for yourself. Get the understanding.
That's right. Hmm.
And I just wanted to get because I got a definition of well, I searched up on Google importance of knowing the milk spiritually. It says in spiritual context, milk refers to the foundational teachings of faith. So this is the foundation of your faith, man. Knowing these milk scriptures. It says knowing and craving it is vital because it provides essential nourishments, satisfies the soul, and serves as the starting point for a long life journey of spiritual maturity and growth and salvation. So this is the start of the journey. The foundation. You got to know the milk.
That's right, bro.
Just as a baby, you got to learn how to crawl before you can walk. Once
Yep.
you learn how to walk, what are you going to do? You're going to start running.
Hmm.
But it's steps. You can't try to build a house, you know, and you have no foundation. You try to put a roof in a window.
The rule.
Now, everybody gonna look at you crazy. Like, what are you doing? So it's always important to start off with the milk and also revisit the milk. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. We're speaking to ourselves first and foremost. Always got to revisit and retouch upon the milk.
Yep.
And it says, essential nourishment for growth. It says, just as physical milk provides a baby with all the vital nutrients required to survive and grow, the basic truths of the gospel provide new believers with the foundational spiritual food needed to mature. It establishes your core understanding of who the Lord is and the grace He offers. That's right. That's why it's very, 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 very important to 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 touch the milk, man. Touch upon the milk, revisit the milk, start with the milk.
That's right.
You know, we know, all brothers came at different times. Some brothers came at a time when they was doing the milk. Some brothers came at a time when they was doing the Hebrew alphabet. Some brothers came in a time, when they're talking about the chip, talking about destruction.
So you got brothers coming in right now where it's high level prophecy.
Yep,
Mhm. But all these different things that brother mentioned, you still can't neglect the milk.
that's right.
You need your foundation. Because hey, to be honest, hey, there is different times. That's why you often hear brothers from time to time say, back then, like I know myself, a few of my elders, they'll speak. All right, for example, one of my elder brothers, Osh, he always say this from time to time, like, man, you know, certain young brothers, y'all ain't have time that we had, okay? And he not the only brother that done said it. I done heard, elders say this, brothers, different brothers throughout the four corners of earth, different elders throughout the four corners of earth say the same thing. All right. Speaking about men just coming in, hey, brothers y'all don't have the same time that some of us had. You had brothers that came in, 20, 30, 30, 20, 15, 10 years ago, able to back then that was a different time. Scripture say a time and season for everything. Now, right now, we're in a time and season where we at the end, it's just straight prophecy. But you can't neglect the milk, man. And I remember listening to Elder Yashawamba during a street teaching a few weeks ago to a month and some change ago out there in Dallas on Friday night, I believe. He was going into basically he was speaking to the audience, all right, to the camera. He was like, hey man, you brothers may not be able to get these, you brothers may not understand these breakdowns that we're giving you, because he was going into the meat. But he's like, hey man, still write them down, okay? Because later on, guess what, you will need them. you know Later on you will need the meat, but you have to focus on the milk. you know that's
That's
what
right.
matters the most, man. That's what matters the most. The point is the milk, man. You brothers coming in, yeah. Eventually, you're gonna get to the meat. All right, you're gonna get to it. All right. Right now, we in an era where a lot of videos gonna be straight prophecy, and some videos gonna be meat. You may come across a lesson, Spirit may have you just taking your notes, you know. But hey, remember the milk, man.
That's right.
Remember the milk. Remember the milk. Remember that, hey man, all right, I got this here when it's time, but hey, this is what I'm dealing with. All right, you got to build yourself up, man. You got to be able to, support, have support, man. Okay.
And what's beautiful about the milk, revisiting the milk, as you progress and you get older and mature in this truth, the Lord is supping with you more. You get more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Now, when you go back to the milk, you realize certain things that you didn't realize the first go around that you read it.
Yep.
Now you could bring out more precepts to add to the milk. You could break it down better. You can expand more. That's the beautiful thing, about revisiting the milk. You could always add more to it.
That's right. Always add more. Always add
We can get,
more. You come back. You come back now. You know more precepts,
yep.
so you can add on to it. You know, as you grow and you revisit, like, damn, wait, hold on, this story sounds similar to this. Oh shit, they
Hmm.
connect, bro. I never seen it. Wow. You going to certain words. Oh, this makes sense. You revisit it, so when brothers be saying the Hebrew word, they get it. This is the word they be saying, but they be saying in Hebrew. Damn. Now you got a smile on your face. Now you can bring out more information because you see it.
Yep.
You done went into it yourself. Con. Anything else you wanted in this?
No, that was it. You
All right.
grab the next precept.
Can I read it? This is 2 Timothy 2:15. Shoot to study to shoot thyself
Wait,
approved.
grab that Isaiah 28 first.
All right, con,
Bible chat.
no problemo. Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Con, that's right. Once
You got
again,
it.
the milk. Huh?
Now I say you got it.
Con. Once again, the milk. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. You need the foundation. Once again, the milk is important. When you look at a physical baby, they're not eating meat. They're not eating heavy food. They're drinking milk. And then you see the progression of them over months. They start to get bigger, start to get taller, they start to get stronger. Which that's what the Lord is doing with us when He starts us off with the milk. We're getting stronger in the faith. We're getting more knowledgeable in the faith, and we're getting strengthened in the faith. The milk is important. You continue.
Milk is very important. Verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line. Suck it. Precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
That's right. So it's important to know the milk. Just as we was talking about earlier, you'll go back to the milk, and you can link this with this. You can put this precept with that precept. You can put that precept with that precept.
Yep.
You can put this precept right here that you have, and you can put it with that precept. But you have to have a foundation. Because hey, there be times at camp, brothers will pull out a precept, and it's like 4 or 5 precepts come to my head. And it's just like, dang, I didn't even think about it this way when the brother broke it down this way. Dang, I could bring out this precept, I could bring out that precept, I could bring out this precept. That's why it's important to know the milk, because you have that foundation.
That's right.
It's okay to bring out milk precepts at camp.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Bro, that's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Bro, the scriptures talk about the simplicity of Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
There's an acronym, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, all right, called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Keep it simple. Hey, the most beautiful lessons and the most beautiful camps is when it's just simple. You're just keeping it simple. Stop trying to go 10 deep, man. 3 deep. Stop it. And Jake be trying to do that shit just because they know a little bit of history. They want to go 3 deep. Stop it. All right. Nobody gonna be like, wow, this guy's great. Nobody's gonna think that, man. Okay. And you should, and even if they do think, really, you shouldn't even want people to have to look at you like that, man. Okay.
Sometimes just keep it simple, Jake. Just get to the point,
man. Keep it simple. Don't need to show that. Oh, I know this, I know that. Chill, Jake. Chill. There be individuals like that. The thing ain't okay. I know this, I know that. That would neglect the milk. Then when it's time to go over some reviews, he don't know shit.
Yeah.
But he knows some history. He thought he was Gucci gang. He thought he was the top dog. But he lost his foundation. This is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
No, you got to slack it. I bet.
No, you could. Exactly the point what the brother was saying. You think, you up because you know the history and all that stuff. But the milk, they'll ask you a simple question: where did Noah's Ark land? And that'll stump you. Or they'll actually, what is that bow that's talking about in Genesis? That bow in the clouds. That'll stump you. Well, as we know, Noah's Ark was on Mount Ararat, and that bow that it talks about in Genesis is the rainbow.
That's right.
But you can know the Jeremiah 50 breakdowns, which is called Tawab. But hey, what about that?
Where?
Brothers would be more upset you didn't know the milk than you're not remembering the precept on Jeremiah 50
Right.
or one of the verses. Because the milk is the foundation. It's what sustains you, is what keeps you, this milk.
Mm-hmm. Like the brother made a good point. Like you're supposed to know certain things. Like shit, yeah, you can know the whole. You probably you'll know Revelation 9 about World War. Well, that's World War One, right? You'll know Revelation 9 about World War One, but you don't know how many souls were saved during the flood. You don't know how many sons Noah had. You don't know their names. That's gonna look
And
bad, bro. That's bad.
that's why it's important to study.
That's right. And it's important to study the milk. Study,
Yep.
hey, there's certain brothers up here, man. Shit, I know myself, the brother Rawai. Hey, we can touch on meat. We can go into different things. All right. And from time to time, the Lord will allow us to touch on those things. But the most important things, man, the most nutritious and very nutritious things. I will speak for myself. I'm not the only brother. I know the brother Rawai could agree, and I know other men in the Miami camp could agree as well. Man, is that milk, man? Because
Yep.
the milk is so simple. It's so sweet. It's so tasty. You
Yeah.
know, why wouldn't you want to go into it? And once you go into it, hey, it's going to lead you to flourish into flourishing and growing into going into slacking. I'm saying going so much. It's gonna you're going into milk so much. It's gonna lead you, all right, and flourish you to go into meat and different things. And even with going into the meat, you're gonna be able to tie certain things back to the milk.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
man,
right. You can't escape the milk.
can't escape the milk. Like you gotta you gotta know the story of Moses and in Egypt. You gotta know this, bro. You gotta know this. We, as men that's gonna listen to this lesson, you partake in the Passover. You don't know about all right the Exodus. That's bad. That's bad, and that's milk. You're just reading stories. You don't know about the Exodus, and you literally partake in the Passover. You don't know. You don't know what was that? Who was that angel? There's a capital A in the word angel for a reason. That's Yahweh Shai.
You don't know who the Lord replaced Abel with.
Right. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know who the Lord replaced Abel with to be a compensation or a reimbursement. You should know that. That's Seth. These are things you gotta know. Gotta know certain things, man. Gotta know certain things. These things are important.
That's
Especially
right.
in the times that we come into as men that's gonna come in, hey, they gonna need the milk. You can't just feed them meat. You gotta know the milk. Now, granted, hey, it's a time and season for everything. Right now, it's prophecy. Hey, bring out your lessons, go to camp, you bring out the prophecy. But hey, don't neglect the milk. Certain lessons, you gotta go back into the milk. Certain things, you gotta go back and revisit because you never know when somebody's gonna come into the fold. You never know when you're gonna need to edify someone on a certain thing. So don't neglect the milk, man.
That's right.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 12. It says, for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. So you have to be taught. We are all taught by our apostles, our elders, the heads of our camps. And guess what they taught us? Milk. before they taught us meat. And it's like and are become such as have meat of milk and not strong meat. If you're a brother, you just came into this truth 6 months, a year, 2 years, man. Focus on the milk, man. Read you your stories, all right. Focus on the milk. Get you build your foundation and build your faith, man. Read some stories. What was written the fourth time was written for our learning. It was written for you to
Right.
learn. It was written for you to study and learn, and for your faith to be boosted, so you can be confident. So you can, and it was written for your learning, so you can learn, learn how to move. And you gonna read it, you gonna learn, and you're gonna be putting precepts together. You're gonna precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. You in Genesis, you got a precept all the way in Isaiah. Two milk scriptures, boom. Then you grabbed another one in Hebrews, milk. And you grabbed another one in Romans. Now you got four precepts. Go do your video, milk scripture video, just like that,
Exactly.
just like that.
And you could always do a lesson on the milk because it's
Always
always
do lesson,
what it tells you in Acts. It says that they'll add to the church daily. More believers
right,
will add to the church daily.
bro.
So
Yeah, hey, it's 2026. A lot of people know that Yahweh Shai, who they call Jesus, is a dark skinned man, but could they really break down everything? They can break down. Okay, is brass, but why was his eyes red? You know what was that? What was that? That golden belt. What was that? His body was as brilliant, meaning green. Talking about his garment. They don't. They don't know. They may not know that. Got to break it down.
yep,
That's milk. That's milk. Got to know that. Yeah. It say ancient of days. Who's the ancient of days? You got to be able to break it down for them. You got to be able to. Revelation 4:3. He is as the sardine and the jasper stone. Talking about the heavenly
yep,
Father. Now you can prove that. Boom. The heavenly Father and his son is of dark skin.
that's right.
You got,
And
you got, to,
then
be, you got to be able to bring out. Okay, boom. Hey, they of dark skin. How can you prove that the nation Israel is of dark? The nation Israel is of dark skin. Boom. We're gonna start with Judah. Hey, Judah is black onto the ground. Boom. Ephraim is an unturned cake. He's a lighter shade of brown. Scriptures like that. You got Songs of Solomon. I am black and I am comely. You know what was that scripture going into Kedar, Quadar? You know,
back into the ground.
yeah, I believe it was that one, Black into the Ground. Yep.
Jeremiah 14:2.
hmm So that's it, man. Gotta be able to, move around and all those things is milk, man. You gonna say something, bro? Salakia.
Yeah, even with that you're talking about colors. You can even go into the Ezekiel chapter 1. Where it
Ooh,
talks about the colors of the angels.
yeah, yeah.
It says, and they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. You already know what that means. But just it's a big puzzle piece. You know, this piece goes here. You might think this piece fits here, but there's always a better piece that could fit there.
hmm
You know, that's the beautiful thing about the milk, man. You can always revisit the milk. You're always gonna grow.
Right.
Always gonna grow from the milk. The milk is gonna help you be able to break down the deeper sayings.
Right.
Because now you know what this word means in the Hebrew. You know what this word means.
That's right, bro.
Now when you go to when it talks about Mount Seir, you know who that's talking about.
Right. Okay, boom. He dwelt in Mount Seir. His name is Edom. You know that.
Yep.
You can go to what? You can go to what? I think that's Jeremiah like 36 or something. You can boom, bring that out. You know,
Yep, it's a big puzzle piece.
big puzzle piece, man. And the puzzle is gonna start with the milk, bro.
That's right.
We'll start with that. But I'm gonna continue to keep reading. Hebrews 5:13. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. And there's nothing wrong to use the milk, man. All right, you come into the truth. Nothing wrong to use the milk because because you're young. You don't really know anything. You're a babe. Stick with the beginner level. Okay,
That's right.
and as you go through the beginner level, and the Lord sup with you more, you're gonna grow. You're gonna grow. You're gonna grow. All right, you're gonna grow to a point that okay, you're like stoic, man. All right,
Mhm.
you're on point. You're a top man, but you gotta start from the beginning. And even those that are stoics and are growing to be stoics, there's nothing wrong to go back to the foundation, to the milk.
That's right.
Okay, verse 14. But strong meat belongs to them that are of full age. You've been around, Lord supping with you. Then you can get strong meat. If you've been around, man, for I would say for from around the time of like 5, 10, 15, 20 years on, you should know some meat, man. I say 5 years, you're supposed to be digging in a little, at least chewing up some meat. All right, 10 years, you done ate, you done digested. You know how it feels. It goes down correctly. You're not throwing nothing up. You good. 15, 20 years, man. Shit, you good. You good. But strong meat belongs to them that are of full age, even those who, by reason of use, have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil, man. Point being, man, you got the milk and you got the meat. Okay, you got the milk and you got the meat, and they're set up, all right, for a reason. And they're set up to go a certain way. The scriptures say, "Let all things be done decently in order." Like we start off with, man, gotta have the milk, then go into the meat. Even like we just read, it named the milk, then it went into the meat because it's levels to it, man. Don't skip the levels. Don't like you have certain jigs. They'll skip the beginning and go straight to the hard part or straight to the last mission. And guess what? They end up dying or they end up just like, damn, bro. Their heads start feeling heavy because they don't know what's going on because you ain't go through the milk. You ain't go through the trials and everything. You ain't learn bit by bit to grow yourself to get to the final boss in the mission and in the game. You just jump to the end, and as soon as you jumped, as soon as you spawned it, the boss just killed you. You have no armor on. You have no armor
Nothing.
on. You have nothing on. You just naked, man.
You did a
You
speed run.
speed run. You flimsy. You don't got no muscle. You just whip. You look like a stick, weak, feeble. Get the hell out of here, man. This guy is gonna battle me. He just crush you. Compared to individuals that went step by step. By the time you get to a boss, he got man swole as hell. He swole as hell. He got his armor on, everything. His sword big as hell, is sharp. That man ready to fight. Boss throwing blows. He dodging them. He hitting the boss. The boss conquer the boss. He did everything he had to do to
Excuse
lead
me.
up to the final mission. It steps to things, man. It steps to everything. It
Yep.
steps to it steps to things in its truth, man. And in dealing with this, we're dealing with the milk and then the meat, man. All right, that's all I had to say, bro. I don't know if you was gonna say something.
No, that's it.
Okay. So with that, we're gonna end up by giving all praises and glory to
Yeah.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, and salutation to sincere brothers pushing his truth and all true sincerity throughout the four corners of earth diligently. And also shalom to the few sisters that listen and believe as well. And with that, we're gonna end off by saying shalom.
Shalom.